Yeah, I'm here.
Everybody here, huh? Everybody here, Johnson. Why? What are you looking for? Why are you
Somebody's
looking like
major
that,
with
John?
Morgan right now.
Somebody doing what? Johnson, what's happening? Are you there? Johnson, can you hear us?
Who's Morgan?
Johnson, can you hear us? No,
Yo,
he can't hear.
Andrew?
yo, can you hear us?
This man here, man.
You hear
He
us?
talk. No, he can't nobody hear him. He can't hear everybody Borging or whatever that means. What does that mean, Jason? Do you know what that means?
Nah.
Johnson, you there?
Bluetooth disconnect. Waiting connection.
Code Mike connection. He done got put out the house. Johnson Borgin. He don't know what's going on.
Bluetooth
Yeah,
connection success.
yeah, we see. We see.
Who's Borging?
Man, welcome to Beyond the Field. We got some technical issues right now. Johnson say somebody Borgin. Coach Mike
Somebody's
got
got
put out the
bad.
house.
Somebody.
It ain't nobody got nothing. It's yours. You the only one can't hear nobody, man.
Everybody go on mute.
No, we gonna put you on mute.
Yo, how do we even go on mute? Can't see it because I got my camera in front.
Everybody unmuted, Johnson. That's you. That's your technical issues. Somebody tell Johnson them his technical issues. But we finna get ready to jump into this thing about these $9 million, man. Carson back, we just got $9 million deal, probably a little more than that. And mentally, we're gonna talk about how do you deal with a situation like that, because I don't think too many of us on this call done seen that type of money. And he is a college athlete and not even a pro, and he got the bag. And that's the type of money that's being produced right now when it comes to these NIL deals. So if you're not with it, you better get with it, or you're gonna get lost. And Johnson, I see your face like, why is you coming close to the camera? Like, we see you. Everybody Borgin. So Jason, how you doing? We got Jason, Coach Mike, and Johnson trying to figure his technical difficulties out. Yeah, you
Good.
just got you good, Coach Mike. You good?
Yep, I'm good.
So I'm gonna ask you a question though, Coach Mike.
All right.
You had your church slacks on and your Gateway Charter shirt on for your wink interview, but now all we see is your screen. Why is that?
Man, it's dark out here, man. My house all the way live right now, man. It's like the kids are up and going, man. It's like Home Alone the night before they flew out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Listen, you stuck in the situation. But right now,
Turn
man, first before we
on the light.
jump,
Sorry.
he don't want to turn on the light in the car. But before we jump into that, head coach, Gateway Charter. What this is, day 3?
Day 3.
How you feeling?
It's starting to set in. I'm starting to feel like I'm the head coach. The first couple of days was surreal. But day 3, yeah, it's starting to come around. But I'm feeling real good, man. Feeling real good. Excited about what we're about to do at Gateway Charter. I'm excited about my coaching staff. I'm excited about the programs that we're getting ready to launch. And I'm excited about our spring opponent, which is Coral Springs. And we'll know within the next couple of days if we're going to them or they're coming to us.
Cold
I'm sorry.
Springs.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Because I could not hear The whole intro. It was
Oh,
all
we know.
Morgan.
We know. Do you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So stop buying them cheap knockoff Taiwan earplugs. We wouldn't be in this situation. Bro, we've been on the show for 5 minutes and you said, is you plug, you keep plugging. Bro, come on, man. Come on,
Hey,
Johnson.
man.
We've been doing this too long.
Hey, maybe his fireplace behind him, man, is messing up the signal.
Oh, man. So right now, $9 million, man. What you doing with $9 million, Johnson? Is you gonna buy you a new pair of earplugs? What are you doing with $9 million? At the age of, we gonna say the age of 20, you got $9 million. What you doing with $9 million?
The responsible thing to do is
I ain't
something
say the
like
responsible thing, man. Stop trying to be professional. What would you do at the age of 20 with $9 million?
I would put it in a trust, and I know myself. I would put it in a trust and put a bunch of restrictions on it. You know what I'm saying? To where I can only spend a certain amount of income per year, and because it's I'm one of those type of people that have to penalize myself. You feel me? Or else it's going to go on. But $5 million, I mean $9 million, it would have to be invested in some type of growth component. Because you know um, that's generational money right there. A lot of people don't understand that's generational money, and
So,
a lot of
right, I get what you saying right now, Johnson, but that's you speaking on the knowledge that you got right now.
right.
20-year-old you, did you have that knowledge?
No,
Was you so what would you do at 20 years old with $9 million?
I probably would have. Let me see, 20-year-old Johnson with $9 million. I probably would have invested. I mean, I would have probably bought
You
some
keep saying
businesses.
no,
No, no,
man.
no, no,
You
no.
are
Okay. I would have bought some businesses, and I would have bought some businesses. I didn't really know about finances and stuff like that, but I would have probably buy some businesses and invest in some people. Um, No, because I'm trying to think of the. No, I really have to think about the influence that
What you say
you
he gonna
think
buy? He buying some boom for him.
that's what he doing. We you think about that, Jason, 20-year-old Jason. What you doing
So,
with $9 million?
so I'm gonna flip it a little bit because I'm a dad. I got a 21-year-old son, and I'm gonna
I
gauge.
said that 20-year-old, you ain't got no 20-year-old son.
I do. I got a
No, I'm saying when
20-year-old.
you were 20 years old, you had a 20-year-old son.
When I was 20 years old, I would have helped out my family first. So that would have definitely been done. I would have probably went and bought some cars and some clothes that I don't need.
There we go.
I
There we go.
would have actually done things to impress people.
Most deaf.
Uh, so I would have taken a portion of it to do the family thing to help out people, but then I would have spent a lot of that money trying to just show who I am and get friends and all of that kind of stuff, and just have access. So I think I would have done a lot of meaningless things with it. Then with that being said, at 20 years old, I would have probably purchased a 3-family house and rented out 2 of those floors, because I can say that I did have a couple of people around me that were purchasing homes and doing different things. But this is actually good that we're speaking on this, because we're not just talking to kids, we're also talking to parents. And that's the reason why I was going to my son. If my son had that money now, he would be he would be talking about he would want to invest it within a IRA, a Roth, because he brings that up now. He wouldn't have just gone out and just spent it. He would have looked at, what do I need? What do I want? And then what am I going to do with it in the long term? So he got a couple things that I didn't get growing up. So that's why he thinks the way that he thinks now. And I'm thinking that parents now, because we have access to so much, that we can actually fill some gaps that we might have had as kids with our kids, to help them to think differently, just so they don't have to go through everything. Like me, I would have spent things, as I was saying, I would have spent things just to impress people. I would have bought a car so that people will see me coming. I would have had clothes. I would have gone to trips. And now when I'm thinking back about it, half of them, it would have been just to impress a person that really didn't matter, honestly. So
most definitely. Coach Mike,
But
20-year-old.
Oh, sorry. I was about to say something.
Go ahead, Johnson. Go ahead, Johnson. You got your mic working. You ready to do your thing? Go ahead.
No. I'm talking about the generation that we lived in versus what's right now. Right now, a lot of the people have an entrepreneurial mindset. You know, they're privy to a whole bunch of different growth in investment products. You know, even crypto, for instance. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't of that. I mean, only like the rich kids or the wealthy kids even had intricate knowledge on those type of things. So I think, like for instance, we were taught when we were in the 20s, in our 20s, that any type of real estate that you buy was an investment, and you couldn't go wrong. You just buy up property. That's what I said, like just buy up a whole bunch of property. But what happened in 2008? You know what I'm saying? It's just a different mindset. I just want to put that in. It's like the information that was flowing in, because right now those kids are inundated with a lot more stuff, a lot more opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like they're learning about what a UIL is. You know what I'm saying? Where basically you can take money and create generational wealth through like was a universal index life insurance and stuff like that. They're getting that information. We didn't have that information. Like you know, with $9.5 million, you know how much money like you could generate. You can be your own bank. You feel me? We didn't have that information. But I'll let that go. Sorry to cut y'all off. Sorry.
Hey, can I just add in something here? So I want to add in something. If you don't know the purpose of something, it will be misused. So that $9.5 million is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money, because someone now could actually spend that money really, really quickly, because you have your taxes and all that kind of stuff. So I think with these kids getting into the sports, their focus is going to get is to really build their dream and to get to where they want to go. But what is the purpose of it? Because once they end up getting there, they are in leadership position, whether they know it or not. So they have to figure out, what is that purpose? Is that purpose just to serve them? Because if it is, it's going to get misused. Is that purpose to serve them and then others? You know, how are they going to use it? What is the purpose of that money? Just as I was saying, you know, if I had gotten it, a portion of it would have just been to impress other people. It wouldn't have, I mean, that's going to nothing. That's going to nothing. I would have probably spent it and not even been able to tell you what that was spent on. When we were talking before, Drew mentioned that when he was playing ball, that he would get his money, and by Wednesday and then by Friday, the money was gone. So
best believe it.
So I'm just thinking about if we don't know what the purpose of something is, and I'm going more toward you, toward us, toward those people, then it's going to get misused. And then that could be us. We could misuse us, because if you're blessed with that stuff and you can't handle it, it's going to go quickly.
Coach Mike, you've been quiet on the phone. What you gonna do with $9 million, Coach Mike, at 20
Well,
years old?
let me tell you what I did at 18 or 19. 19 years old, I'm in the United States Army. I went and got a loan. Didn't need the loan, but went and got the loan just because I could. $1,200. Me and my homeboy, we went to the mall. I bought 4 pair of shoes, and I probably spent another 300-400 on clothes. And this was out in Colorado Springs, really nice mall. And so they had a person that was walking with me carrying my bags. Okay. Now, went to the food court and I probably spent about $100 at the food court. And then I had a limousine to pick us up and take us back to Post. Okay. $1,200 was gone. No. I had $350 left. I went to the club that night and I bought the bar for 5 minutes. Cause that $300 went fast. So at the end of the night, I had $50 left out of that $1,200 I went and borrowed that day. And it took me a year to pay it back. So if I would have had $9.5 million, I'd have gave my mama $1 million. I'd have gave my grandma $1 million. I'd have gave my aunties $1 million. That other 6.5, dog, it parlay. It's parlay. I used to go, and then I'm talking about I was doing this, ain't have no money. I used to go to Las Vegas every other month just to go until I got old enough to where I could gamble. So I know that $6 million I would have had left, because I'd have put $500,000 back. That $6 million, it'd have been gone. And wasn't nobody getting no financial education, none of that. You know, my financial education would have been, all right, I gave my family $3 million, so when I get broke, I can go live with one of them.
Most definitely. So now ask yourself this. All right, they offering $9 million right now to $9.5 million to a kid to play college sports, where at a time that it was never, this was something that was very taboo. Now, as guys that's in this space and that understands what's going on, how, if I'm a parent watching right now, how do I get my kid set up for that $9 million in college? That's the question.
Well, the thing is, everybody not going to get the $9 million. And so if you have, I talked to a coach last week, and he thinks his son may be the next Travis Hunter. And so if you have a kid like that they're gonna be extra special, then I would advise them to, like, he's a business. And so just like you would look at a Walmart or a Target or Amazon or something like that, you got to look at him the same way. He's a walking, talking corporation. And so you got to set him up like that, you know. So anything that got his name on it, like, you got to get that intellectual property, you know. you want to get him where he understands the business side of it. Like right now, you got some parents and they're jumping and they're taking some money. And the one thing that I tell them from the high school standpoint, if you're gonna take the money, make sure your kid understand the business of the game. Just because you take the money but you didn't teach him the business of the game, like you failed him because it may be more money down the road. But if you mismanage this situation early, then how you gonna manage it later? So you always want to start early with kids like that. And then for the parent, I would suggest the parent to go out and get um, their insurance license, their Series 6, 63. Go and learn all this information. So now you can handle your kids' money in the best way because you're gonna have the best. You're gonna be looking out for their best interest better than anybody else.
Well, not all parents, but we'll say that conversation for another day. So, Johnson, what you think are some key essentials that a kid that's inspired to put himself in a position to make this money should do?
I mean, they have to surround themselves with a good infrastructure, proper vetting, because one of the things is like you have to, like, how they say you got to spend money to make money, and you got to have that kind of mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of the biggest mistakes some people make, especially like the young kids, like, oh yeah, I got my homeboy, he's, blah blah blah. I known him all my life, blah blah blah. Let me give him some money. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't really proven anything. So I think if you're disciplined enough to be like, hey, I'm gonna spend the money to go with this advisor. I'm gonna spend the money to go with this insurance company. I'm gonna spend the money to go with that, and don't cut any corners, and have the proper infrastructure around you. Then I think that I think that's most important, because I think a lot of people, they make decisions with their heart. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting the best advisor, they might get their auntie who maybe studied for the Series 7 or has an insurance license but don't really know what the fuck she's doing. You feel me?
Wait, listen, you got that boom form in that cup, man. This is a PG-13 show. You
My
ain't
bad,
and
my
you
bad.
are
No. I'm just saying, just don't do things with your heart. Just use your mind. Use your mind first, and I think that's most important. It's like you can't. The rich don't really cut corners like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't really cut corners like that. So you got to kind of almost put your mindset as like a person that's got it already. You feel me? Because if you go from the broke paradigm, you're bound to lose. Because all you're gonna do is cut corners. All you're gonna do is take any advice that you want, and then you're gonna get like a lot of people sell you on stupid, whatever. So that's the
most
advice I would get.
okay. Jason, what advice would you give someone that has an athlete that is trying to position themselves for the bag?
So I would say to work on themselves, man. I think mentally, honestly, is going to be the key, because we can like to talk about money and investing it, but you have to have a why. You have to be disciplined as well. And I think parents at times, these are some different conversations where you're going to have to lead, but then at the same time, it's really a good time to get to know your child too, and know what their wants are. What are they really? What are their values? Do different things to help them to really not have a have a mindset of lack, because if we have a mindset of lack, that's when you'll go out and you'll waste all of that money or give money to your friends and all that kind of stuff and not have boundaries. Whereas if you're thinking larger and you're loving what you do and you know why you want to do it and you know how, and then I would say at the same time, parents also have to be humble too. And I think that it's hard at times because we can actually tell our kids, look, I want you to do it this way because I told you and because I know better. And I think it's really having conversations with your kids and having a lot of questions. And then you have to be a example too. And I'm not talking about being perfect. I'm talking about being an example. If you've done something wrong, then you have to say it. If you're having a hard time with something, say it, because they're going to come into some situations that are they're going to have a lot of pressure. And if you have the chance to build that groundwork now and plant that seed, they're going to need that. If you don't have it when they get older and or they have access, they're going to let the wrong people in. And there is a chance that they can blow that money or hurt themselves. And that kind of goes back to saying, if you don't know the purpose of something that is going to be misused, and then that could even be you, where you're going to misuse you. So I really think it really comes back to adding into what everyone else said about treating them like they're walking, talking corp, knowing where to invest at, but really being grounded mentally, uh, emotionally. And then the last thing I'll say is to have boundaries with themselves. And if you have boundaries with you, then you're going to have boundaries with other people. So if you have boundaries with your money, you're going to have boundaries when you're just giving that money. And then, so that's like a piece of it, man. There's a lot there to it, but I think it's really also being disciplined and know why you're doing what you're doing. And I'm not talking about not, having fun, but I'm really talking about looking at this long term, because people's football careers are pretty short and then they get a lot of money and then they're not looking at the long haul and they're spending all of that money thinking that something else is going to come. And that's why we're doing this beyond the field. So
Most definitely.
Yeah, like Andrew, for instance, you gotta like if you knew like the moment that you were going to go play for the Desperados, you knew that you had to train your body for that league, right? Like you knew
Yes,
you
sir.
had to train that, so you had to take it to a whole nother level. You got to be more disciplined or whatever. Those kids that are getting in positions for those things, they have to kind of almost take the same mindset. I got to train my mind in my whole lifestyle to this whole new lifestyle. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I can't have a poor man's mindset going into that because that's a recipe for disaster. So
Most definitely.
So if like those kids need to, I mean, it's a very nuanced thing, but it's going to be a very hard thing. But they have to kind of train themselves. Hey, you train like a professional, not like an amateur, like a professional. I don't care if you're 20 years old, 21 years old. You got to train yourself like a professional because I mean, like, think about it. You got 9.5 million. All you're dealing with wolves. You're dealing with wolves in sheep clothing every day. So you got to train yourself to be a professional. I got to be disciplined. I got to make sound decisions. I got to, get me a mentor. I got to get me a right financial advisor. I got to get me a right lawyer. I got to get me all because there's going to be wolves every single day. Even my employer that's giving me a paycheck, that's a wolf in sheep clothing. Do you think those GMs are just trying to give money away willy nilly? They're not trying to get an advantage. Come on, man.
Hey, can I just add something back to something I said in regards to the parents? Like, and you just said mentor, meaning that you have to be. I think that it's really important for someone to be able to say when they need help and feel good about asking for help, and to know that they don't know everything, and that's going to come from example from parents. And that's where I was talking about being vulnerable or being transparent, because if they don't know how to do that, they're going to keep everything inside, and they're going to figure that they know everything, and they won't get the help from the right place, because it might come across strong or brash, and they'll run to the wrong place. Mm-hmm. So I think that the parent's job is really important outside of the training aspect, the getting them to practice and all that kind of stuff. Really spend that time working on their personal selves, working on them. So that whole mentor piece, that's like big. That's huge.
Most definitely. And I tell people,
I totally agree. But I'm going back to when I was 19, 20. I didn't know what a mentor was. And so my mentor rolled up on me, and he helped me get out of trouble, and and I thought he was the smartest dude in the world. He helped me get out of an Article 15 that I didn't think that I deserved, because I was standing my ground with an NCO who he was a sergeant, and and this guy come up, and they getting ready to read me my Article 15, and he comes through the door, and he's like, "Hey, where's this soldier representation?" And everybody mouth dropped, and then he started spitting out stuff, Army regulations, such and such, such and such. I was like, man, this dude's smart, man. But he then, and you're right. I woke up one day and felt like I needed to go buy me a car, and I went and bought me a car. I could afford the payment for the car, but I couldn't afford the insurance. The car payment was $350. The insurance was almost $700.
No sir.
And so he made me take the car back and get. I ended up getting a 1992 Ford Taurus with the inside. The outside was white. Inside was red velvet. Yes.
Ford Taurus, pull up. Everybody run.
Tell you something. My first car. My car allowance, man, I got the paper. I looked for the car, was $200. That's how much the car that I could buy a car. I couldn't spend any more than $200. Actually, no, $4. So that's like, yeah.
Your first car, but that was back in the day though. That's when cars was like 20. Now when you get a Kia Rio for
Beetle, man.
For $1,000. Nah, man, I tell people honestly, right now, it's a show out there, especially for parents. I think it's you guys should check it out. It's called Survivor's Remorse, and it's about an athlete, top star athlete, and just pay attention to the characters and the plots and twists. Great show of what's going on, because it's a guy who came up with a single mother, made it to the NBA in the city of Atlanta, and he comes from Boston, and the things that he had to deal with back home and what he wanted to deal with, the survivor's remorse, because he survived all the BS. Now it's the remorse part, and people tapping into him and trying to feel on his soft spot to get, you know what I'm saying, his name, image, and likeness. So, because it was a lot of times they wasn't even asking for money, but they were asking for him to be present. And his cousin he surrounded himself with a great guy. His cousin is, you know what I'm saying, the barrier for all the BS. So anytime the cousin sees it, oh, he is on it 1,000. But that's the type of person you need around. And just understanding and defining those characters and seeing that is real life. Once you get this money, that is what's going to happen. People are going to come out of the woodworks that you didn't even know was there. And they're going to want to see if it ain't about the money. So
there's a
that's one of the things, man. I tell people,
Yeah, that's
check that show out, man. I love that show. I love that show to death, man. Check that show out.
That's LeBron's show.
So, Johnson, what's up? You ready to file?
No, that was LeBron's show. I didn't know they had a different season.
Oh yeah, they got like what, it was on season 3, I think 3 or 4. But it's super dope, man, because it just shows you a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that happens that people don't think athletes go through or understand, you know what I'm saying, the journey of being an athlete. It's a lot comes with it, man. Like you can't do normal stuff anymore, especially when you become a superstar.
Right,
And
right. And you know what? Another thing that that show. So I'm doing the Eric Thomas 28-day challenge, and he's talking about you got to identify if you're ET or CJ. ET is the talent. CJ is like the buffer dude. He the ones
most up.
that he makes sure ET know where he going. He booking everything. He making sure everything is on point for ET, so that the talent he can go out and perform. And
Most
on
up.
that show, it's the same way with the basketball player and his cousin. His cousin is
Yeah.
the one that he's like the what do you call it? So in dodgeball, he's the blocker. He take all
Yes.
the hits. So the talent can go and perform,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things that I think also, with the young guys, you got to find who that dude is for you. Like I always tell people, me and my best friend Antonio, I played D-line, he played linebacker. I took on the blocks so he could make the tackles. Like that was just our relationship. And, when we got older, it kind of changed. And then he took on and allowed me to shine, but, you have to find people who are genuinely happy for you and they want to see you succeed. And they don't have an ego about, well, man, you got this and you doing this. And, man, you left me out and stuff like that, And so, like right now, I can say, like, for me becoming the head coach, I got so many dudes around me right now that don't have an ego that are genuinely happy for me, because they understand the work that I've put in. And so my advice would be, man, you got to find that genuine person who he don't mind going to bat for you, to allow you to shine.
Yeah, that's yo, Mike. I'm on that challenge with you too, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today was a good one today, boy. It was a good one.
Yeah,
Now,
I can't keep on going in all these different spaces because this. Y'all already know what challenge I'm on with this AI, and I ain't seen nobody got on no AI challenge with me. What's up with that?
That's true.
Yeah, y'all just be leaving me out there. Hey, Boom Farm Master over there. He just show up when he show up. Is you gonna help us, Boom Farm?
So, what Mike just said about the blocker, I think that's definitely a role that parents can play too.
Mm-hmm.
Before the kids are out in their own, is they got to be that blocker so that kid can shine.
Most definitely. And take their ego out of this space because it ain't about you. You can't live through your kid. Just make sure when the BS comes, you block it off and you make sure they're making the best decisions. Advise them on the best decisions because you still want them to make their own choices because they're individuals and they're their own humans. But you want to advise them, and then sometimes you might got to put your foot down and say, "Nah, we're not doing that." But you want to make sure everything that you advise the kid on is at their best interest at heart, and it's not you. Because you know, like we gotta understand in this sports world, you got a lot of parents that are in it just for them.
That's
You
for
feel what I'm saying? And they living through their kids, and they're not taking their kids' best interest at heart. You know, so you got those parents out there as well, and you know, we just got to call a spade and understand the talent needs to be the talent, and everybody else needs to protect the talent. You
Right.
feel me?
Yo,
Because
And
the talent bring in the money.
believe it.
for the kids though, the kids really have to, I think, really have to focus on two. They got to own their stuff good, and then stuff that has to be worked on too, because
Hmm.
I think that we talked about this on our first one. The more freedom that you have, the more responsibility that you have too.
Yeah,
So the more freedom or the more access that you have to stuff means that you actually there's actually more to lose.
most definitely.
And most
I
times
really,
kids want to be grown when they want to do social stuff, and then they want to be a kid when it
when,
comes to the real stuff.
yeah, when
So
it's time to pay them bills, they
yeah,
don't cut. They don't cut that.
yeah,
Talking about the
yeah,
real them bills,
yeah.
them
Right.
things that come every month. They
Every month. They
definitely,
don't miss a
yeah,
day. They don't take no
yeah.
sick day or nothing.
I guarantee you right now, you sit up here and talk about that phone bill. Your phone bill is due, and they go, oh, they gonna pay. They
Right.
ain't grown then. That ain't my job.
And
But
look,
man,
man, I've been with Verizon for 10 years. And I asked them for an extension, and the woman talking to me like I was crazy.
use a
I said, okay,
rookie.
don't listen. Okay, listen. I said, by the summertime, I'm replacing y'all. Everybody getting replaced. If I don't
Yes,
get
sir.
great customer service, I'm gone. You ain't getting now none of them. Not in the words of my stepdad, you ain't getting now another dime from me. No ducats.
No ducking. Can't
No
get it.
ducats.
Man, yeah, man. So we've been on here for a minute, man. So it's been a wonderful show. We got some things in the works right now, and we're just trying to stay consistent and keep getting come to you guys with some powerful messages, because the things we got in the works is gonna be booyah, booyah. What you say, Coach Mike? Coming off like though? Nah, we can't. Can we say that right now though? We
Coming off
coming off
like
like the Ninja Turtles.
Coming off like the Ninja Turtles. We
Yes,
got
sir.
Donatello,
Yeah,
Raphael on the boom phone.
Right, man. Yeah, yeah. Y'all beat me up on that one. But anyways, y'all gotta hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Send stars, send super chats or whatever, man. That's very important to the show. You know what I'm saying? If you want us to keep bringing this heat, you have to do your part too. Do
most
your
definitely.
job, just like
Do your job.
Billy. Do your job.
Most definitely. All right, man. Another show in the books. Be on the field. See you guys next time. Next week. We're going back on Wednesday, same time. We out.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.
That's